Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm here for the Scrapbook Nerd Online Shop. The design team was challenged to work with a Milena Whitty sketch this week. That's the one you see on the screen. And my plan is to take this page design and mirror it. What that's going to mean for this sketch is the bottom is more or less going to be the same, but the elements on the top part of this sketch, I'm going to flip them. For example, the focal point photo and the journaling, I'm going to put it on the left instead of the right. Here's what I'm going to be using. I have the Simple Stories Cozy Days collection. I got all of this at the Scrapbook Nerd Online Shop, so I will link up the shop as well as the products I use in the description box below. I did do a bit of preparation in advance. I prepared that frame style foundation with 3 sheets of paper and I gutted 2 of them. There is a tutorial on my channel where I make a foundation page like this, so I will link it up below. I'm showing you the photos that I matted in advance. Those ones at the bottom actually have 3 layers of cardstock, and I'll talk about that later. I'm showing you the paper that I selected from this collection. I also have those foam thicker titles. I have the sticker sheet, 2 packs of ephemera, and a pack of enamel dots. So as you can see, the sketch is in the top left-hand corner, and all I did at this point is take my focal point photo and toss it to the left. Right now I'm creating a large border, and this does differ from the sketch. On the sketch, it's a very narrow border. I have this large one, and I'm putting measurements for everything I'm doing on the screen. Right now, what I'm going to do is cut myself some tags. So I'm using scraps of paper, and I'm using a tag punch, a retired tag punch from Stampin' Up. And if you don't have a tag punch, you can simply make tags with strips of paper, in this case 2 inches wide, trim the ends on an angle, and then punch a hole in the middle. Super, super easy. What I'm going to do is I'm using these tags, number 1, to highlight my focal point photo, but also they will serve as the foundation pieces to 2 main embellishment clusters. So at this point, I'm going to adhere my border together. I'm going to trim it at 11.5 inches so that it fits just within the navy blue part of that frame style foundation. And I'm going to adhere it to the page, and then I adhere the 3 photos, the small photos, along that border. I'm going to keep the focal point photo separate at this point because I want to play around with more page parts. These 3 photos at the bottom, as you can see, they are matted in blue cardstock, but behind that blue photo mat, there are 2 more layers of hidden cardstock. Basically what I did was I took cardstock that I've made mistakes on in the past, cut them, and put them behind the photos, and it raises them up a bit, almost like foam adhesive. It's not as thick as foam adhesive, but it does raise them up a bit, and it's nice and solid underneath the photos, so the photos aren't going to bend. As you can see, I got some letter alpha stickers out here. Those are from a collection called Happy Life, and I put my title on wax paper, which is Autumn Walk, so I can play around with placement. Also, I have a journaling spot there. That's from one of the 2 ephemera packs that come with this Cozy Days collection. So I'm playing around with the placement of the tag, the title, as well as the journaling spot. Again, if you have a look at the sketch, you can see how I've mirrored it. The focal point photo and the journaling is going to be on the left instead of the right, and the title is going to be on the right instead of the left. That's it. Before adhering anything or before continuing, I decide to add some ink to the edges of my tag as well as that journaling spot, well, to the tags actually, to all of them. And before putting ink everywhere, I made sure to test a spot that would be hidden behind the focal point photo because I wasn't sure of the color. That one there is called Basic Gray. It's a really dark gray, and I'm using a Ranger Mini blending brush. So all that's in place. I'm happy with that. I place everything back on the page. As you can see, I'm playing around with this orange tag on the right as well. What I really want on the right is a repetition of that orange tag that's on the left, or I want a repetition of that strong orange, but I'm not convinced about that tag. So that's why you see me putting it in the cluster and taking it out on the right. It ends up staying out, you'll see as I continue. Anyway, now what I'm going to do is start building embellishment clusters. So I put a few pieces in the tag area at the top left. That's going to be a smaller embellishment cluster, and the main one is going to be in the bottom right there. So I start with that large flower that's kind of coming up behind that small photo on the right. A moment ago, you saw me go into my sticker sheet. I got out like a squirrel sticker and tucked it behind the flower there. He comes back in, but I don't have a piece of wax paper handy, so I put him back on the sticker sheet. And then I kind of worked my way up the right side of the page and progressively used smaller pieces. I'm adding ink to the edges of my ephemera because my foundation page is kind of cream colored and the edges of those ephemera pieces are white. So I just wanted to remove a bit of the whiteness, and the ink kind of did the trick. I could have fussy cut them as well, but I'm really not into that. So I've sped up the film and now I'm adhering everything basically exactly where I had placed it earlier. But I am going to walk you through the steps of this embellishment cluster at the bottom right again. I started with that large flower piece, the pink flower, tucked the squirrel the next size down behind that flower. Now I'm working my way up the right side of the page, getting smaller and smaller using flowers and leaves. And I'm making sure not to place two identical colors side by side. For example, there's a brown leaf there and a brown squirrel, but there's kind of a golden flower in between the two pieces. So now I'm finished, but I do feel I need a little bit of height and dimension in my embellishment clusters. So I got out that foam thicker title sheet that has little flowers and pieces, and I put two flowers, two bright orange flowers in that embellishment cluster on the right and a pink one in the top left. And as a matter of fact, those orange flowers on the right was just what I was looking for that repetition of the orange that is in the top left. Also, what I did was I came in and added foam adhesive behind some of the ephemera pieces in those clusters. Basically, I tipped up one end with foam adhesive and the bottom end would be on the page. A better example of that is that if you look at the leaves at the top page, the ends of the leaves are popped up, but the bottom are actually adhered to the page. You see me right now creating some rings to put around my tags, some reinforcers. So what I did was I used a hole punch, a 1/2-inch circle punch, which created a ring. I adhered it around the holes of the tags. It kind of finishes off the tags. And now I'm adding a bit of twine. That is from Lawn Fawn. And I'm just making bows and adhering them to the tags with a little glue dot. A moment ago as well, I went on that journaling spot and there was a little expression there that said fall bucket list, but it didn't really pertain to my story. So I went into the sticker sheet and found a little expression sticker that says fun fall days. And again, I popped that up on foam adhesive just to add a little bit of height. Anyway, I'm just doing the finishing touches here. You may notice I haven't adhered my journaling spot at this point. That's because I want to do my journaling before adhering it to the page because it is going to be a little bumpy in that area and I don't want my writing to get messed up. So you'll see it in the still photos at the very end. I'm coming in with some enamel dots. I end up not using them. And that is it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the Scrapbook Nerd YouTube channel, we'd be absolutely thrilled if you did. The same thing, if you haven't subscribed to Scrapbooking Quebec, please subscribe. I'd be absolutely thrilled. Also, make sure you check out the Scrapbook Nerd Online Shop. The link to the shop is below. Thank you so much for watching and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.